Wu Dao's sword's eyes sparkled as she gazed at the sky, mouth wide open in astonishment. Wow! The next moment, she turned to Han Ju, chattering incessantly. Master, have you comprehended a new technique again? Can I learn it too? Han Ju's shoulders slumped, but he chuckled softly. Of course. As soon as the words fell, Han Ju raised his hand and pointed at the spot between Wu Dao's sword's brows. Transmission. First layer of the heaven-piercing sword Dao. A faint layer of light shot straight into Wu Dao's sword's head. Her eyes began to fill with countless runes. Han Ju spoke calmly. This is only the first layer. Once you master it, come find me again. Without hesitation, he turned and walked away. Comprehend it well. It won't be easy. I'm off to cultivate. Wu Dao's sword stood frozen in place, her face dazed as though she had just achieved enlightenment. It was as if she could see the radiance of 10,000 Buddhas converging in one place. The sun climbed to its zenith, yet she remained there, staring blankly at the sky. Before her, a sapling sprouted. Behind her, people began tilling the fields once more. The great heavenly tribulation from decades ago had finally passed. No one spoke of that calamity anymore, and the cultivation world had returned to its former order. Some fought, some ascended, others preached the Tao to the masses. Time passed without notice. Wu Dao's sword's expression dulled as she watched the sapling grow to her height. Fields behind her were already under construction. Thanks to Han Ju's contributions, Yuqing's sacred sect had reaped immense benefits, rising to become the holy land of the 10 provinces and 9 dynasties. Countless itinerant cultivators and mortals came to bow before the sect. More years slipped by. The construction behind Wu Dao's sword was eventually completed. The sapling before her had grown to twice her, now petrified, height. Han Ju, undisturbed, continued cultivating in peace, until he successfully broke through to the late heavenly immortal realm. 20 years later, Wu Dao's sword had turned completely into stone. The sapling before her had become a towering tree, its canopy wide enough to shield her petrified body from wind and rain. One day, a visitor arrived at Bitter Cultivation Immortal Mountain. Standing before the petrified Wu Dao's sword, his shadow cast upon the stone, he muttered, "Not bad, not bad." The newcomer was Tai Bai. He stroked his beard with a smile, his eyes curved like crescents. In just over 10 years, to have grasped the sword intent of the heaven-piercing sword Dao. No wonder His Majesty values this one so highly. At that very moment, Wu Dao's sword suddenly shattered the stone seal around her. She yawned so widely that tears welled up in her eyes. Aya! What a good nap! The sudden movement startled Tai Bai, making his eyes bulge. His face turned pale with shock as he shouted, "A woman? Since when did the heaven-piercing sword Dao have the ability to alter yin and yang?" Wu Dao's sword tilted her head at him. "Who are you?" Before she could finish, a group of people suddenly rushed in from all directions, startling both her and Tai Bai. "An intruder!" Someone shouted. Another voice barked, "Xiao Cao, fall back and notify Master at once." In the next instant, the disciples all stopped, forming a neat line upon the ground. Their faces dark, their bodies radiating murderous intent, they shouted in unison, "You've broken into our sect's grand protective formation. What is your purpose?" Cold sweat trickled down Tai Bai's face. He muttered helplessly, "I've been standing here for half an hour, and only now you notice me? Isn't this a failure of your duties?" Still, he politely cupped his fists toward Han Ju's disciples. "No need for alarm. I am an immortal official of the heavenly court. I've come to confer an immortal title upon Han Ju." The disciples froze in shock. Heavenly court immortals? After losing to us, they actually came here with good intentions? Tai Bai stammered, But Wu Dao's sword's eyes suddenly lit up. "Master is coming!" The moment her words fell, a blank dialogue box suddenly appeared in the air behind them. The disciples of Han Ju lifted their eyes. Startled, "A dialogue box?" The box extended into a nose-like projection, poking straight at Black-Held Chicken's face. A line of words appeared, "Let him in." Black-Held Chicken trembled as he muttered, "It's Master's voice." The disciples immediately bowed respectfully. Honored guest, please come inside. Upon entering, Tai Bai saw a fusang tree standing beside the cave residence. He secretly thought, no wonder his cultivation hasn't slowed despite remaining in the mortal realm. He's training beside a fusang tree. Inside, Han Ju was fiddling with something. He looked up with a smile. Exalted immortal, you must be tired from your journey to the mortal world. He cheerfully took out a pot of chicken soup, ladling a large bowl for Tai Bai. Come, drink a bowl to warm yourself. Black lines filled Tai Bai's face as he forced a polite smile. Soup. This Han Shioyo's tastes are certainly unique. Han Ju grinned proudly. This soup was simmered by an old friend of mine. The flavor isn't bad, have a taste. But inside, Han Ju was crying bitterly. Tears welled up in his eyes. If the Heavenly Emperor hadn't taken away my fusang tea leaves, would I be reduced to drinking this soup? At that moment, the system notification appeared. Tai Bai, Deluo Golden Immortal, Perfection, Favorability, 3 stars. Rank, 2nd rank Literary Immortal of the Heavenly Court. Position, Chief among the Literary Immortals. Trusted aid of the Heavenly Emperor. Reliable. Han Ju glanced at Tai Bai, who was sipping the chicken soup with relish, and thought to himself, even Deluo Golden Immortals can be detected by the system. Then what about Di Hongye, the Heavenly Emperor, or the Grand Marshal? Their cultivation must at least be Immortal Emperor. When will the system be able to gauge realms beyond Immortal Emperor? Unable to restrain his curiosity, Han Ju asked, Exalted Immortal, you mentioned conferring an immortal title. What do you mean? Tai Bai finally remembered his purpose. He produced a golden command token and said, This is an immortal title token, synchronized with your heavenly Tao token. Should you ever need assistance or encounter trouble, you may summon me through this. Simply leave a soul imprint upon it. Han Ju accepted it with joy. Many thanks. Leaning closer, Tai Bai whispered, Han Xiaoyu, the heaven-piercing sword Tao bestowed upon you by His Majesty is no ordinary technique. Han Ju's eyes lit up as he studied the token. Indeed, this is the most difficult sword technique I've ever encountered. None surpass it. Tai Bai wasn't surprised. I knew you'd say that. Do you have the confidence to master it within 1,000 years? Han Ju froze, dumbfounded. 1,000 years? Tai Bai smiled smugly. Yes, 1,000 years is exaggerated, but once. The Heavenly Court had a supreme sword immortal. With a single strike, he severed the river of destiny itself. The heavens trembled, and countless gods and Buddhas had to act together to repair the river. As soon as he finished speaking, Tai Bai rubbed himself against Han Ju's stiff face and continued, With such outstanding talent as yours, it usually takes 10,000 years just to grasp the heaven-piercing sword Tao. Han Ju was caught off guard, his thoughts swirling. Sever the long river of fate. Is the heaven-piercing sword Tao really that powerful? Then what I've been practicing. Is it the same thing or not? Maybe my cultivation level is still too shallow. Especially that immortal execution sword formation, how mighty could it truly be? In the end? It depends on whether the sword itself is strong enough. Thinking this, Han Ju humbly asked, May I ask, Senior? What exactly is the Long River of Fate? Is it like the Long River Sword Tao? Does it exist not merely as a symbol, but on a deeper spatial level? Tai Bai cleared his throat with a profound air and replied, Correct. The Long River of Fate is tied to the destiny of all beings. If that river is severed, the fates of all creatures are severed as well. That is why it is taboo. Every great force is bound to it. When you truly master the heaven-piercing sword Tao, remember to tell me. I must report it to His Majesty. It will surely gladden him. Han Ju was stunned. So the difficulty of cultivating this sword Tao is that high. If I reveal it recklessly, would it stir the Heavenly Emperor's suspicion? He quickly dismissed the thought. No, that shouldn't be. After all, the great generals of old survived it as well. With the Emperor's exalted status and magnanimous heart, he must have weathered waves far greater than this. Why would he fear a mere junior like me? Then there's no need to hide it. Resolving himself, Han Ju's face lit up. To be honest, I've already mastered the heaven-piercing sword Dao. Tai Bai's eyes curved into crescents as he laughed. Not bad, not bad, you've actually learned it. But midway through his smile, he froze. His entire body locked as if overloaded with information. His mind struggled to process what he had just heard. The next instant, his face drained of color. Staring stiffly in disbelief, he asked again, "What did you just say?" Han Ju scratched his head with a sheepish grin. "I said I've already mastered the heaven-piercing sword Dao." Tai Bai feared he had misheard. Cautiously, he asked again, "Mastered?" "Don't brag. How could it be so fast?" Hearing this, Han Ju grew a little embarrassed. "I can't exactly demonstrate it here. If I unleash it, the mortal realm might not withstand its power. If Senior doesn't believe me, we can leave the mortal world and test it in the void." Tai Bai's expression remained stiff. "Then let's go." In the next moment, he conjured a golden sphere that enveloped both him and Han Ju. Blinding light radiated outward, and the world around them vanished. Above the mortal world lay the starry sky, not the immortal realm, but a vast void. Nothing existed there. The golden light expanded until their vision blurred. The next moment, they appeared in the endless cosmos. Tai Bai's face was unreadable. "Come then. Show me the heaven-piercing sword Dao with your full strength." Han Ju answered loudly, "Forgive my offense." Time of one incense stick passed. Within Han Ju's cave abode, sunlight filtered down on the plants. Boom! Rocks and dust blasted apart as two black silhouettes emerged. Spiritual power faintly swirling around them. Han Ju's face was stiff as wax. Wide-eyed, he thought, this guy is a sword cultivator? But isn't he supposed to be head of the literary immortals? Just now he was spouting grand theories about everything under heaven. Could it be that the sword cultivator he praised was actually himself? I'm doomed. I've offended a senior. If he takes offense, I'll be in trouble. Meanwhile, Tai Bai was drenched in sweat, frozen like stone. His face betrayed deep confusion. This brat is anything but simple. If His Majesty learns of this, how overjoyed he'll be. With that thought, Tai Bai cupped his hands respectfully and said, "Little friend, your talent is truly unprecedented. This matter, let heaven and earth know, let you and I know, and let His Majesty know. No fourth person must ever learn of it." Han Ju quickly promised, "Rest assured, Senior." Tai Bai nodded solemnly. "Diligently cultivate, little friend. I will report this to His Majesty at once. This is a blessing for the heavenly court, an immense blessing." At that moment, the system prompt appeared. Tai Bai's favorability towards you has increased. Current favorability, 4 stars. Han Ju sighed in relief. Thankfully, Tai Bai isn't narrow-minded. After this, my importance in the Heavenly Emperor's eyes will surely rise. Whether that's good or bad, who knows? Watching Tai Bai shuffle away like a walking corpse, Wu Dao's sword couldn't hold back a question. "Master, who was that sausage head just now?" Han Ju was speechless. "No manners. That was Spring Roll." Then he turned and asked, "How's the sword Dao I passed on to you?" At this, Wu Dao's sword grew sulky. "Master's sword Dao is too difficult. I practiced a bit, and then fell asleep." Han Ju jabbed her cheek angrily and scolded, "Don't slack off. All you ever do is daydream. I reached the first level of the sword Dao in half a year. And you? 20 years have already passed." Wu Dao's sword quickly admitted fault. "I was wrong. Master, please stop poking my cheek." Han Ju barked, his voice echoing through the cave, "Within 100 years. You must grasp it. Otherwise, I won't pass any more sword Dao to you." Wu Dao's sword drooped weakly. "That all right.